Good morning. This is a review of the study guide for test number 1. I will go through all of the questions, and if you have questions afterward, email me and I'll be happy to go over them with you. Question number 1. What are the 3 basic elements of theater? The play, the performance, and the audience. Number 2, what is a willing suspension of disbelief? When we go to the theater, we know that we are seeing a play and that the events, the action that we see on stage is not real. But for the time that we are in the theater and while we are watching the play, for the sake of our enjoyment, we will believe that everything we see on stage is real. We will suspend our disbelief. Number 3, what is popular culture? Popular culture is that type of art or entertainment that appeals to the greatest number of us. Popular songs, popular television shows, popular movies, popular clothes, fashion, that which appeals to the greatest number of us. What is elitist culture? Think about that appealing to a select few. When it comes to art, let's consider, for visual art, let's consider a modern art exhibit in a gallery. That's an example of elitist culture. Or going to the symphony, going to see the ballet or a ballet company perform Swan Lake. Only a select few of us are actually entertained by ballet. So that's considered elitist culture. And unfortunately for us, theater is also considered elitist culture because not everyone is entertained by live theater. Only a select few of us actually find that entertaining. What 3 basic problems is a theater critic concerned with? Now, the word problem is a little misleading, but let's say what 3 aspects, qualities of a theatrical performance will a theater critic be most interested in when when they set down to write their review? First is understanding. Is what is attempted on stage clear? Did we understand what was happening on stage? Number 2, effectiveness. Did the director succeed in telling the story with all of the elements that he put together in telling the story? Did that succeed? Was it effective? And finally, ultimate worth. Was the amount of money that you spent on the ticket worth the cost of the production? Or was the production worth the amount of money that you spent for the ticket? So those 3 things: understanding, effectiveness, and ultimate worth. Which Greek philosopher wrote a study of drama called Poetics? Aristotle. We will talk about him a lot during the course. Number 7, the plot of the play is divided into 3 parts: the beginning, middle, and end. And we talked about the specific things that happen at the beginning of the play, in the middle of the play, and at the end of the play. What are the 6 parts of drama named in Poetics? Plot, character, thought, diction, music, and spectacle. What are the two types of plot structures and which is the most common? Climactic and episodic. The climactic plot structure is the most common. We talked about the structure itself, the plot structure. Rising action, building to the highest point of intensity, which is the climax, and then falling action, which includes the denouement and ends with the conclusion of the play. Climactic and episodic, the two types of plot structures. Number 10, in poetics, the part of drama called thought concerns what? Thought is the theme of the play. Thought is theme. What is the point of attack of a play? The point of attack is the point at which the story is taken up. The point at which the playwright chooses to begin his story. What is exposition? Exposition is the setting forth of information. After the point of attack, we get information revealed to us, usually through dialogue between characters. We find out where we are, we find out who the characters are and their relationships to one another. Also, we find out what happened prior to the beginning of the story or prior to the point of attack. What is a discovery? A discovery is information that is revealed, usually through exposition, that might set us off as we are moving toward the climax. When I say set us off, move us off course. When we talk about a climactic plot structure, we talk about rising action building to a climax. Something happens as we are moving up toward that climax that might set us off or prove to be an obstacle for us as we move toward that climax. It can be information that is revealed. It can be the arrival of another or introduction of another character. But that's something that will in some way or another change or affect, impact the rising action of the play. Not in a negative way necessarily, but it will change the course of the action in some way. What is the climax? We build up to the highest point of intensity. That is the climax. We build up to that confrontation between two characters, or the revealing of that truth, that thing that we have been going toward as we move toward rising action, right? Now, one thing that I did not mention and is not included in the study guide is something called the inciting incident. This happens after the point of attack, and as the exposition is happening. The inciting incident is that event that starts the movement toward the climax. It sets the plot in motion. We will see when we talk about Oedipus Rex that the inciting incident is Oedipus agreeing that he, or stating that he will find the murderer of King Laius. We're going to talk more about this next week. That sets the plot in motion. And everything from that point forward is about or deals with or concerns Oedipus finding out who the murderer of King Laius is. I'll end here and I'll be right back.